We are going to walk through the Node.js client that uses WebSockets and our Lens GraphQL subscription APIs to return near real-time information on devices and people count. So if you want to install it and follow along, you can get the code at my GitHub repo. There is a README here that walks you through the features, some of what I'm going to be talking about and demoing, the project structure, and how to get it installed on your machine. So feel free to do that and then follow along as we get everything up and running. After we install the project, we will go in our terminal to the root of the project directory and type in npm start, and that fires off the whole sequence here. We start with requesting the access token, so we pass in our client credentials to the Lens authentication endpoint to get an access token back. Once we do, we start the batch retrieval process of the room IDs and the device IDs, and then we see how many total room IDs and device IDs are returned. We then initiate the connection to the Lens WebSocket endpoint, and that's where we pass in those subscription queries and the IDs, and then we are connected to the WebSocket, and we'll see a incoming transmission of a connection ACK, which is basically the server acknowledging the connection, and effectively the pipe is open. From there, every 5 seconds, I have a waiting for next transmission message printing to the terminal. Otherwise, it would just be sitting here with the black screen and might look like it's broken. It's not, it's just waiting for messages. So you'll see every 5 seconds that printing to the CLI, just to give you some warm fuzzy feelings. Every time a message comes in, I've got it printing incoming transmission and then the message from the server. So you see here, incoming transmission and the people count. So this right here is the actual, this object is the actual message from the server, but I am firing off another query essentially to pull back for the room ID that comes in the message, pulling back the room name, and then the people count that is in the message, just to make it a little bit more human readable, right? Because without this, then you'd be looking at this chunk here, and it's hard to figure out what room that people count data has changed for. So today, this is just printing to the terminal here, but there's a number of things that you could do with the messages that come back. Everything from writing that to a database, to using it to fire off other automations based on people in the room or not. So we'll scroll down here because this has been running for a few minutes. But you can see that the people count messages filter in near real time here. And let's pop over. One other way that you could test this is if you pop over to the GraphQL Explorer and you run the reboot device mutation by passing in a device ID. That's basically you're sending an API command to reboot the device. But we've got the device stream going, right? So we can pop back over to the terminal here and wait a little bit, and we'll see the messages pop in that when the device goes offline and then comes back online as part of that reboot process. So this is just a way for us, by manually rebooting the device, we can see those messages come through. So you can see here, just like with the room names, I'm doing the same thing with the device name. I'm popping it in the top here for the incoming transmission by using the device ID, and we can see that connected is false. So same thing happens with the TC10. That is a paired controller to the room. It's going to show connected false. There's going to be a message for that. So what you'll see when it comes to the PolyOS devices, as part of the reboot process, it'll go offline, online, offline, and then eventually online, kind of in that sequence as the device goes through its reboot and network initialization. So if you are going to be automating something off of this, you definitely need to take that into account as far as like a time threshold goes for those messages coming through, because the endpoints are a little chattery like that. But after it goes through its full, reboot and connected status, it will, like, the final message that will come through for those endpoints is connected true. So typically this is like, 2 minutes or so of messages coming back and forth before it's finally through its full reboot cycle. So just make sure you take that into account if you are going to automate off that. So yes, this is device stream messages coming through, and you saw the people count earlier. So again, this is all just printing to the terminal in near real time, but feel free to take this and use it, and build your other ideas off of what is already here. So thank you very much for being here and seeing this walkthrough. If you have any issues that you find or any feature requests, you can absolutely feel free to, on the GitHub repo, you can go into the issues tab for the project and feel free to open an issue, whether it's a bug or it's a feature request. Feel free to do that. I'll see it and I will see what I can do to get to it. So thank you very much. I hope you enjoy this project. Have a great day.